Hey everybody, welcome to topic number 27, US and metric measurement. So in this video, we're going to talk about how to convert US metric measurement, and we're going to convert in between US and metric measurement. So one of the trick to understanding measurement is to get familiar with the relationships between all the measurements. Okay, so here for the U.S. customary system, most of us kind of know about feet, yard, miles, inches. Okay, capacity we got gallon, quart, pints, cups. Okay, and for the weight we got ton, we got pound. So most of us familiar with these. The trick is the difficult part here is the metric systems. Okay, we don't use as much metric system, okay, in the United States as everywhere else. So when we get to the metric here in a minute, I will go a little bit slow. So basically, you got three category of units. You got length, you got capacity, which representing amount of liquid can be put inside the containers, and we got weight. Okay, so all these conversion boil down to two different methods. Okay, the shortcut works very good for the U.S. measurement, and the shortcuts is basically use it for a direct conversion. Okay, so that means there's no direct conversion means you already see the direct conversion on the chart. So basically, the difficult part here again, other than unfamiliar with the measurement, is also to know where you're starting and know where you are going. A direct conversion means you start here, you end here in one step. It's a one step problem. Okay. Another difficult part is if you actually need to start here and go through somewhere, go through another unit and then end up the unit you want. So those type of problem you really got to think about what's going on. Okay. So that's why you want to get familiar with all these units and the relationship between them. All right. So the shortcuts are very simple for the one step problems. Whenever you convert from large unit to a small unit, okay. Oh, here I wrote a typo. Convert from small unit to a large unit, you will always multiply. To convert from small unit to large units, you will always divide. Okay. Dimensional analysis is using something called unit fractions, which we talked about it a little bit in when we talk about the ratio. So we'll show you how to use both methods here. So I'm gonna do the fraction. I'm gonna do the shortcut first. Okay, quart to gallon. Okay, both of them are U.S. measurements. Okay, so this problem you're converting between US to US, and both measurement is under capacity. So this is the box you look at. Do you see anything between quart and gallons? Right here, 1 gallon, 4 quarts. So that's a direct conversion or is a one-step conversion. So who is a larger unit? Well, gallon is larger, quart is smaller. So to convert from small to large, we will divide. So we take the 28 quarts divided by the conversion number between quart and gallon is 4. Okay, so 28 divided by 4, 7. Okay, so my answer, 7 gallon. Very simple. Now, to do it with a dimensional analysis using a concept unit fraction, okay, to use it that way, you do not need to know who is a larger unit, who is a smaller unit. All you have to do is start with your 28 quart and write it as over 1 and times another fraction. Since you don't want quart anymore, you want to put the quart in the denominator, so these two quart will cancel out. Okay, quart to gallon is a direct conversion, so I can put my gallon up top. So once the units are in place, then you can write in the numbers. The numbers are the conversion between quart and gallon or their ratios. So 1 gallon, right? 1 gallon for 4 quarts. So once a quart cancels out, we perform this just like a regular multiplication of fractions. 28 times 1 is 28. divided by 1 times 4 is 4. The only unit left is gallon. So 28 divided by 4, again, I get 7 gallons. Okay, so dimension analysis works very good when the problem involving multiple steps. That means you start here, you need to go through another unit before you end up with a unit that you want. Okay, it works best for those because then you don't have to think about which unit is bigger, which unit is smaller. So you don't have to think about multiplication or division. All right, let's do another shortcut. Feet to miles. We all know feet and mile are both US measurements, and both of these measurements are on their length. So the conversion between feet and miles, okay, is right here. 1 mile, 5280 feet. Feet is smaller, mile is larger, small to large. We will divide again. And what do we divide? We divide it by the ratio, which is 1 mile for 5,280 feet. So 22,440 divided by 5280. My answer, 4.25 miles. Okay, round to nearest hundredth. So 4.25 will be that 5 is the hundredth. All right, minute to seconds. We know minute is larger, second is smaller. The ratio between minute and second is 60. So all I gotta do is take 5 minutes times by 60 seconds, which will give me 30 seconds. Okay. So if you want to use dimensional analysis for the minute and seconds, so that will be starting. You always start out with what you start with. 5 minutes, put on the numerator over 1 times another fraction. Since you don't want minute anymore, you put the minute in the bottom. We do have a direct conversion between minute to second, so I can put second on top. So that's writing our ratio. Our ratio says 1 minute for 60 seconds. Minute cancels out. So now the denominator is only 1 times 1, which is 1. So the only operation I'm doing is the numerator. 5 times 60 is 300. And the only unit I got is seconds. Okay. Now, when it comes to conversion of matrix, okay, dimension analysis works for certain problems. It doesn't quite work for certain ones. All right. So the ways to convert within the matrix system. So right here, what we're talking about here is if you are convert between matrix length to another matrix length, then you can either by moving the decimal points as guided by its prefix, or you can multiply them by the unit fractions. So by the unit fraction means dimensional analysis. Dimensional analysis sometimes can be a little bit difficult here um, when you convert within length to length or convert within capacity to capacity or weight to weight. Okay. So the easiest way to convert between matrix to matrix length, capacity, or weight is simply by moving the decimals. So the matrix unit is based on 10, just like our number systems. Okay. Here is your whole number. Here's your 1 meter. Okay. To the left is 10. The next one to the left is 100. The next one to the left is 1,000. Okay, so kilo means 1,000, hecto means 100, deca means 10, meter, liter, gram is all 1 unit. And to the right, you got deci, 0.1, centi is 0.01, and milli is 0.01. As all compared to all these number is all as compared to the 1 unit right here. Okay. So moving decimal is the easiest way. If you know where you're starting and know where you are going, then it's pretty easy to see that to do it from looking at the chart. All right. So whenever we convert, you need to look at the units first. You got to understanding what unit are you dealing with. cm means centimeter. Okay, the m means meter. Meter telling you that you're converting between length to length. Meter also tell you that this is actually metric to metric conversions. Okay, so the prefix is telling you what place they are in. Centimeters, centimeters is right here. Okay, DA means deca, decameter is right here. So to go from centi to deca, there's 1, 2, 3 places to the left. So we talk about this when we're talking about the power of tens when we introduce it in division. When you're moving decimal to the left 3 places, that's the equivalent of dividing by 1,000. Okay, so it's the same thing. So my 540 centimeters, decimal is behind the zero. Move the decimal 3 places to the left. 1, 2, 3. Put the decimal in front of the 5. My answer, 0.54 decameters. Okay. So why does it make sense? Why the answer makes sense as compared to the 540? So got to remember, centimeter is a small unit. Decameter is a larger unit. So whenever you convert from a small unit to a large unit, you need a small number to represent you are converting from small to large. Okay, that if you think it like that, it will make more sense. All right, meter, right? Conversion between metric lengths to metric lengths. Okay, milli is right here at the very end. Milli to meter. That's 1, 2, 3 places to the left again. So for my 823 milliliter, decimal is behind it, moving 3 places to the left. Put the decimal in front of the 8. My answer, 0.823 meters. So again, milli is small, meter is a larger unit. So whenever we convert from small to large unit, you need a small number as compared to what you're starting to represent you're starting from a small unit to a large. All right, km, m and m, meter. Once again, both are metric lengths. All right, k means kilo, c means centi. So now I'm converting from kilo to centi. So kilo to centi. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 places moving to the right because I'm starting at kilo, right? Moving 5 places to the right. So 5 places to the right means times by 5 zeros. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So that means times by 100,000. So all you have to do here, we talked about this before. All you have to do here is start with your 30 and add 5 zero behind it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay. So it'll be 3 million centimeters. All right. Now these problems are metric measurement of areas. Okay. You probably do not know much about metric measurement of areas. Okay. So area, when we're dealing with area, okay, such as square feet, square inch, square centimeter. Okay. Every time when you say the word square, okay, every time when you say square in some units, the square telling you that you're dealing with area. Okay. So that's how when you do your homework, that's how you know which chart you need to come back and look. Okay. The A here representing R's, A-R-E-S, A-R-C-E. Okay. I think that's how you spell it, R's. Not acres, R's. All right. So if you don't know what R's is, that's okay. Okay. I don't know much about it either. But the only thing I know is whatever these ratios are giving me, okay, I can convert it, okay, just by looking at the ratios. All right, land areas using R's and H means hectares, okay, H means hecto, so HA is hectares. So let's see, the square right here telling me that I'm converting areas, okay, the meter telling me I'm dealing with metric areas, okay, so milli and deci. Do you see anything between square milliliters versus square decimeters? So you just gotta look, you just gotta find it inside the chart. Square milli. Find your square milli. Here's a square milli. Here's a square milli. Here's a square milli. Okay. all of the one I highlighted, which one take you back to deci? Well, this one does. Okay. So my ratio here is 1 square decimeter is equal to 10,000, okay, square milliliters. So that's a direct conversion. Okay. So who is bigger, who's smaller? You know what I'm saying? Well, if you do dimensional analysis, you don't have to really think about that. Which means, if I will do this problem as like the unit fraction methods, okay, which is called dimensional analysis. Take your 747 square milliliter, set as over 1 times another fraction. If I don't want square milli, I put it in the denominator. I do have a ratio between direct conversion or direct ratio between square deci and square milli. So I can put square deci up here. Okay, that's where I'm going, right? So let's put my ratio in there. 1 square deci for 10,000 square milli. Square milli cancels out. 7 times 1 divided by 10,000. 747 divided by 10,000. Here's my answer, 0.0747. Okay, square deci. All right. Conversion between hectare to R's. Hectare to R's, the ratio is right here. It's 1 to 100 ratio. Okay, so you can take 162 hectare over 1 times another fraction, put the hectare down here, put your R's up here, and writing your numbers. What does it say? 1 hectare for 100 R's. Hectare cancels out. So this problem would just be 162 times 100, which is 16200 R's. All right, let's do temperatures. Most of us know about temperatures. So here are the two formulas for the temperature equivalents. So if you want to go to Fahrenheit, then you use the Fahrenheit formula. If you want to find out about Celsius, you use Celsius formula. So this example want me to go to Fahrenheit, so I will use the Fahrenheit formula. So all I do is just plug it in. Okay, Fahrenheit is 9/5 times Celsius, which is 10 degree, right? Plus 32. So right now this has two terms. So when I put in the calculator, I gotta make sure the plus 32 need to be outside the parentheses. So I will say parenthesis 9/5, close parentheses, times 10, right? That's okay. I don't have to put the 10 in the parenthesis because as long as I leave the plus sign outside the parenthesis, the calculator automatically sees as two terms times by 32. So what the calculator will do here is actually perform 9 divided by 5 first. Whatever that decimal is times 10 before you will ever plus the 32. So that will be 50 degrees Celsius Fahrenheit. Okay. Length equivalence. Okay. So this is conversion between US to metric, metric to US length. So if you ever ran track before, right? At the high school, one big circle on the track is 400 meters. Okay. So certain things we always use, metric. Okay. Certain things we always use US measurements. So here are your equivalents. The difference between the two sides is on the left side, you start out with US and convert to metric. The one on the right here is you start out with 1 units of metric and convert to US. Okay. So this is pretty easy. If you look at this problem, meter right here is metric, right? So this is metric, okay? And meter tell you that that's metric length. Convert to inch. When you see inch, you know that's US. Inch is actually length. So now we are converting between metric length to US length. So I know I need to come to this chart. All right, so I'm starting with metric. Okay, so use the right side here, the metric. Do you see anything on decimeters? Do you have any decimeters? No, you don't. Okay, so now we have a problem. So if you don't have any decimeters, then how can you get your inches? Well, that's why you here you need to look around. If I want to end up in inches, okay, this one right here tells me I can go from centimeter to inches. So I know I can go from centimeter to inches, but can I go from deci to centimeters? So decimeter, see meter, meter, okay, both are metric unit of length. So that means I can actually come up here to my table and see that, okay, go from meter to meter, right? Deci to centi. Deci to centi is only one place to the right. So deci to centi is only moving decimal right one place. So once I convert to centi, then I can use this ratio to convert into inches. Okay. So what it's saying is for your 550 deci, if you move to the right, move the decimal to the right one place, then you should get 500, excuse me, 5,500 centimeters. Okay. Because go from deci to centi, moving decimal to the right one place. So now I'm at centi now. So that's over 1 times another fraction. Put centimeter down here. I do have a direct conversion from centi to inch. So then put my number in 1 centimeter for 0.394 inch. This cancels out. So that means this problem becomes 5,500 times 0.394. Round to nearest hundredth. I don't need to. This is just going to be 2,167 inches. Okay, so let's go over this again. From the beginning, when I look at the units, I see meter, I see inch. So that one is metric, one is US. Meter and inch are both length. So this problem want me to convert from metric length to US length. So once I know what I'm trying to convert, then I come to this length equivalent. I'm starting at metric length, so I'm starting right here. That will take me to the US measurements of length. Okay, then we look at, okay, do I have anything from deci to inches? No, I don't. I don't have any deci right here. So then I know that, okay, I do have something from centi to inch. Okay, so now the question is, can I go from decimeter to centimeters? Then you got to think, okay, deci and centi are both metric lengths convert to metric lengths. So that's why we had to go back to the table up here to actually see, okay, deci to centi is only one place to the right. All right. So there's a little bit of thinking involved here. So that's why sometimes this can be difficult because student got to think, okay, if I don't have a direct conversion, then who do I need to get through? What unit do I need to convert to first before I can convert to the unit I want? All right, these are area equivalents, okay? These are square footage, square yards, okay, acres. Oh, I did spell R's wrong. A-R-C-E. I was right. I wrote it down wrong. Okay, for the area up here, okay, this A-C-R-E, A-R-C-E, okay. This is ours. Okay, so I did spell it right. These are acres. Okay. So here you got your US areas. Here you have US to metric areas. So that means this side is all gonna be US areas convert to metric areas. The right side here is starting with metric areas convert to what? Convert to US areas. Okay, here are your small area. This is the same table as from the one above. Okay, so I do understand that you can actually Google all these all these numbers, and it will tell you how to it will actually tell the answers. But that's not the point here. Okay, the point here is to know how to perform dimensional analysis. Okay, so if students are interested in nursing, okay, one of the biggest things in nursing is drug calculation, and drug calculation is nothing but conversions, okay, of units. So get familiar with these, okay? So then when you actually taking classes such as drug calculations, okay, then it will not seem as unfamiliar. Remember, you don't have to you don't have to really know much about these ratios, but if you can figure it out, okay, who do I need to get through before I can get to my units, then you're doing great. Okay. All right, let's give this a try. The square and square tell me I'm converting between areas. This is US area. This is what? US area. Both yard and feet are US to US areas. So that means I'm looking up here. Okay. US to US area is up here. All right. So what am I trying to convert? Yard to square feet. Square yard to square feet. Square yard to square feet. That's a direct conversion. 1 to 9 ratio. So square yard is bigger than square feet because normally yard is bigger than feet. So go from large to small, we can multiply. And the ratio between square yard to square feet is 9. So I'm going to take my 747 times 9, and that will tell me how many square footage I have. 6723. Okay. All right. Meter, yard. Okay. So this is metric area, and this is US area. All right. So then I come to this little table, metric area first to what? To US area. I'm trying to go from square kilometer to square yard. Square kilometer to square yard. I don't have any square kilometers. Okay. So now the question is, okay, if I'm starting at square kilometer, who do I need to go through to get to my square yard? Well, I do have a square yard here in the square meter. So now I'm kind of going backwards, right? If I know I can go from square meter to square yard, then now the question is, can I go from square meter to square, excuse me, go from square kilometer to square meters? So then both of these are metric areas, okay? So if we convert between metric areas, see right here, you don't have anything about square kilometers and square meters. Okay, these are R's and hectares. So we need to look in here. Okay, do you see anything between square kilometers and square meters? Okay, I see one right here. Square kilometers, square meters, right there. It's a 1 to 1,000,000 ratio. So I can go from square kilometer through square meter before I can reach my yard. Okay, so let's do dimensional analysis. The space is kind of small, so I'm gonna write it up here, okay? Starting with my 800 square kilometer over 1 times another fraction, put my square meter down here. I need to get to square meter first, so I put my square meter on top. Writing my ratio, 1 square meter for a million. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, now once I canceled out the square kilometer, now my square meter. Then to go from square meter to yard, so I will times another fraction, put my square meter down here, put the square yard up here. Remember there was a direct conversion between what? There's a direct conversion between square meter to square yard, 1.196. 1 square meter, 1.196 square yard. Okay. So now all I gotta do is cancel out the kilometers. Square meter cancels out. This problem becomes 800 times a million. 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 times 1.196. There you go. That will be your answer for the square yards. All right. So that will be your 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. That will be 956,800,000. All right, let's do volume. Volume are cubed. Okay, every time when you see cube, these are volume. So you see the top four are conversion between volume to volume. The bottom four are conversion between capacity to capacities. Okay, US, these are US to metric, metric to US. All right. And right here are your liquid volume equivalent. So what these representing is cubic of volume, right? Liter, kiloliter, milliliters, these are your capacities. So these are how much liquid go into how much space. Okay, your volume is, think of volume as space. All right, so this is a little bit tricky. So, okay, cubic inch. So that's US volume, US volume, cubic meter, that's metric volume. All right, so let's see US right here, right? US right here. So I need to go, I need to end up in cubic meters. So I got cubic inch to cubic centimeters. Hmm, interesting. I need to go from cubic inch end up to be cubic meters, right? Right now I'm showing cubic inch to cubic centimeter. So can I go from cubic centimeter to cubic meters? Cubic centimeter to cubic meters. Do you see anything between cubic centimeter to cubic meters? Do you see anything between cubic meters and cubic centimeters? Right here, 1 cubic meter, a million cubic centimeters. There you go. So I can convert from cubic centi to cubic meter. Okay, so let's start out with our 70 cubic inch to the third over 1 times another cubic inch. Okay, and that can take me to cubic centimeters. All right, let's writing my ratios. 1 cubic inch for 16.387. All right, times another fraction. Could put my cubic inch down here. That can take me to cubic meter. So cubic centimeter to cubic meter. So 1 cubic meter for a million. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So when all the units are canceled out, then all you do, you take 70 times 16.387 and divide it by a million. 70 times 16.387 divided by a million. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So round to nearest hundredth. This one you might have to round a little bit more. Sorry about that. Let's just put 0.0011. How about that? Show a couple more decimals. 0.0011 cubic meters. Now this one is tricky. This is volume. This is US volume. This is actually metric capacity. This is liter. Okay. So, start up with cubic inch, right? Cubic inch. Cubic inches, only cubic inch I got is right here. Cubic inch take me to cubic centimeters. So another question is, can I go from cubic centimeter to liter? Do you see anything between cubic centimeter and cubic liter? I mean, and liters, excuse me. Cubic centimeter and liters. We don't have anything except right here. I can go from a cubic centimeter to milliliter. Well, why is that? Because once I reach milliliter, right? Milliliter is metric capacity. Liter is metric capacity. So go from metric capacity to metric capacity, we can actually go back to the chart because this chart uses for length, capacity, and even for weight. Okay, so let's go back down here. So go from milli to liter. Go from milli to liter. Let's move in the decimal 3 places to the left. Okay, that's 3 places to the left. So go from here to here is left 3 places. All right. So we'll do that by looking at our answers. Okay. So let's start out with cubic inches. 800 cubic inches over 1 times. Okay, go to centimeter, right? Put my cubic inch down here, put my cubic centimeter up here. All right, that's 1 cubic inch. That's one, oh, excuse me, up top. 1 cubic inch for 16.387. All right. Then go from cubic centimeter to milliliters. Cubic centimeter to milliliter is a 1-to-1 ratio. So that means if you write another dimensional, write another unit fraction, cubic centimeter down here, right? Cubic centimeter on top, cubic centimeter bottom, take me to milliliter. So that's 1-to-1. So so there's really nothing to do. You know what I'm saying? There's no, just times one is still the same thing. Okay. So now once I punch this in the calculator, I will be at milliliter. So 800 basically times by 16.387. This is how many milliliter? 13109. 0.6, right? Milliliter. To go by the liter, I need to move my decimal 3 places to the left. 1, 2, 3. So my answer is 13 point, okay, 1096. So if I round to nearest 100, that will be what? 13.11 liters. Okay. All right. So let's do one example of your weight. Okay. Make weight and mass equivalents. Okay. So this is gram. Gram is metric weight. And ounce is US weight. Okay. Do you see anything between gram and ounce right here, right? So I take my 71 gram over 1 times, put the gram down here, put the ounce up here. What does it say? 1 gram for what? 0.035 ounce. So once I multiply, and that will be my answer. There you go. Round to nearest 100, that will be 2.45. Okay, very important. All right, 1 kilogram is about 2.2 pounds. Okay, so a lot of times, when you go to the doctor's office, they'll actually measure your weight by kilogram. Okay, but the scale also has a conversion built into it, so that's why they can press a button and tell you how many I'll tell you how many pounds. But think about what they wrote on the chart. On the chart, what do they wrote? Do they wrote how many pounds or how many kilograms? Okay, think about that. All right, let's take a look at some of these uh, homework questions. What are the two basic techniques when converting between units of measures? So that will be right here at the beginning. Okay, two ways: the shortcuts and the dimensional analysis are the two methods. All right, what are the two ways to convert within the matrix? Okay, so within the matrix. So that will be the second topic. One way is what, moving the decimal points as guided by the prefix. The other way is multiply by unit fractions. Okay, I didn't quite show you how to multiply by unit fractions, but I actually show it to you right here. Kind of show it to y'all, but using different using I use dimension analysis for what, not matrix to matrix, but matrix to US to matrix. Okay. All right. Gram representing what? Gram representing which one of the five choices. Okay. Now this number 4. Which of the following is best to describe the problem? Okay. So what are we trying to convert? This is kilometers. So that's matrix length, right? Matrix length convert to what? US length. All right. So from question 5 and on, okay, use the tables. Use the tables in the lecture handout to do all these conversion. Okay. So they're not hard. HAM, H means what? Whoa, let's go back to H. We haven't done H. H is what? Hecto, right? So that's hectometer right there. So these are very similar to the one I just showed to you. So give a try. Okay, they are not too difficult. But if you do wrong in the questions, please let me know. Okay. All right. That will conclude this video. Thank you for watching.